Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to The Law. This is your legal light. It is your health law. If you go to my door online, there's a story that is headed, "My 5 daughters were killed by a trailer, but I'm yet to get justice. Father cries." It has been 5 years since I have tried to get justice for my girls, yet no one appears to be interested. And these are the words of a 49-year-old carpenter. What happens after an accident? What should happen? On the part of the police, on the part of insurance. We'll be right back. You're welcome back to The Law, and this is your legal light. It is your health law. I'm Samson Lardy Anyenini. My guest this afternoon, Nda Ahale Poli, is Head of Claims and Complaints, Ghana Insurance Association. Joining us also via Zoom is my senior and very good friend, Kwame Kodua Echiahene, Director, Regulations, Inspection and Compliance, National Road Safety Authority, and Reverend Cyril Benedict Crab, who is President, Accident Victim Support, Ghana. Gentlemen, thank you for making time to join us.
Thank you very much.
Great. So we are doing this on the back of a story that I began to read a portion to you. I intend to read just a bit more, and then we will also show you some footage. And if you go to my door online, on the 21st of November 2023, there was a story that was posted, and it's headed, "My 5 daughters were killed by a trailer, but I'm yet to get justice. Father cries." It has been 5 years since I tried to get justice for my girls, yet no one appears to be interested. These are the words of a 49-year-old carpenter. The carpenter lost his 5 daughters, aged between 11 to 14. 5 daughters, 11 to 14 years, after an unidentified trailer truck ran over them whilst running an errand for their teacher at Asin Chichere in the central region. The 49-year-old, recounting the horrid incident to join you, said he has since been left traumatized because he was constantly referred from one authority to the other. Speaking in the local parlance, he explained that he was still kept in the dark as to the incident that led to their death, because he was only phoned and told that his daughters were run down, leading to their death. Like, that's all. He knows nothing more beside that. He said all attempts to bring the driver of the trailer to book have proved futile, adding that after the accident, the truck was towed, and there has since not been a trace of it. A truck was towed. Who told it? And there has since not been a trace of it. The carpenter seized the opportunity to appeal to the government to come to his aid so he could bring offenders to book. He made these comments when he joined Accident Victim Support Ghana, and a group of people who are equally victims of road accidents and have also been denied justice. Here in the studio is the founder of that organization, a non-governmental organization, Reverend Cyril Crab. So, we want to tell the stories of such incidents and how even the state has disappointed the people or the victims or families of the victims. But let's start with this story. How did you come across this story?
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you. Meeting you for the good work you are doing.
Thank
and
you.
also cherished good afternoon to your viewers. The story, because of our work that we do, being the mouthpiece of crash victims and being the arm receiving crash victims, listening to their story. This story came to us through one of the fathers of the daughters, 5 girls. One day when I came here, and then they heard me spoke on your set. And so I went to the site to listen to them and to get a full story. That's about 3 years ago. And I realized that indeed, they don't even want to talk about the story at all. So I approached the Ghana Insurance Association and then also the National Insurance Association Commission to ask what can be done, because I work with these, they are my partners, which I go there to find solution for crash victims. Let me also state that we have been working as Accident Victim Support Ghana for the past 14 years, supporting crash victims, defraying their costs in hospital, listening to them and finding any way possible that could be the solution that would bring them to near life, or at least for them to smile. And so this is one of our story, which we make them to come from Antobiase. Every year we host the I Support Accident Victim. It's a fundraiser where we bring victims that we can't support within the year, financially and also finding the legal solution. So it was one of the gatherings last year.
And these victims would have been hit by vehicles that were insured?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
we'll get there. Right, that's why you're
yes.
here.
Yes, that's why. In fact, they are my partners. I would sit here and say that they've done with the National Insurance Commission and then Ghana Insurance Association, giving me the solution.
Let's keep to the story.
Yeah, so they have to come. Every year they come. But last year, I told them that I'll give them the opportunity to speak to the issue, because I was trying to find solution. I couldn't. So when the story broke, the claims at Insurance Commission now gave me who the insurers were, which is WAPIC. And so I have the police report. I've been with the police report of that issue for about 3 years, trying to find WAPIC. I remember I even went to Gassem. In fact, the trailer was carrying 85 cement of Gassem products, Gassem products. So I went there to Tema. I was told that Mr. Acha, who was in charge then, was not there. They denied me entry to even see and talk to them about this issue, so that at least they can also come in and compensate these people. I couldn't get it. I was asked to go to Jata Cement. The person had gone there, Mr. Acha or something, yes. I went there, I was also denied. So they were also frustrated. I have to help them severally to plant lollipop stand to save other children. I have to be there to donate to them cloth, like we do every year. So last year when they came crying from Antobiase, bringing me food stuff just for me to help them, I told them then at Accident Victim Support, I Support Accident Victim fundraiser, they should speak to the camera. So I pushed them there to go and tell their story. And that's how this story broke. This man has 2 kids. 2 fathers are there that are among them. There are 3 fathers, 3 families, but 5 children. But he lost 2 of them.
Okay.
And every effort that has been done, that I have to do to get the justice, I've proved for it. That I sit here and I say that at the end of the day, they thought I couldn't do anything. So WAPIC, I was told it was WAPIC. I went there. I was just sharing the letter with you that they wrote to me. And they are very sorry that they are not the insurers of that particular trailer. Secondly, the matter is 5 years, 6 years now. And so they can't do anything about it. And I'm like, oh no, it can't be. I don't think the police will make a mistake in their report that it was WAPIC. The young man I met over there.
By the time you laid hands on the police report,
yes.
How many years had
3 years ago.
3 years was gone?
Yes.
Okay.
And then within the 3 years, we're looking for WAPIC. Actually, when we saw them, they have transitioned from WAPIC to Coronation. That's what I was told, to Coronation. So I was showed where the Coronation insurance was. And so I went there and I saw one Lovebridge, who was in charge of claims. And then he told me he took the police report. And then later he wrote to us that he's very sorry about the incident, but they cannot do anything about it based on 2 things that they think could make them not to do anything about it. It's because they have changed their name. And when they changed their name, they made the whole world know that they have changed their name from WAPIC to Coronation. And the second is that legally it should be 3 years, but this is 5 years. to 6 years. So they are sorry they can't do anything about it. They wish me well for the victims. So I asked the young man that the people are living at Chichire and Tobias in the central region. I think these are people who know next to nothing about insurance. Now, these are vulnerable people, i.e. they are very, very impoverished. These are peasant farmers. They have to go to farm. They were in their various, working, farming, carpenting, and then they were caught on the issue. They rushed there. Now, the processes of after accident is you have to pay for police report, which will take some time because the police will have to go and do markings and all that. Secondly, you have to pay for coronary report. All of these things come by payment, and they have not made any other budget for this because nobody knows that accident will come. So it took them time. Now, a lawyer took it up. The lawyer died along the way. So even looking for WAPIC with this kind of stress around, look at where they are. It was even watching me on TV that they realized that, look, some help is coming. So can't we at least call them and do something about the issue? And they said they are very sorry. They can't handle it.
From what you learned, the police did the report.
Good.
And then did what with the report?
The police kept the report. The people have to pay. There are 5 families. In fact, one of them have not even since paid for the police report. So as we talk,
5 children died.
5 children died, 3 families.
And the police did a report.
A report.
They didn't charge whoever was behind the wheel.
You read the story yourself.
No, it's a question to you now.
No,
they didn't charge whoever was behind the wheel.
No, we have not gotten that yet.
They didn't yet.
Yes.
And they didn't also get the families and assist them on what they were supposed to do to get help. The police didn't do that.
No.
It took 3 years for you to be heard on television that you are with Accident Victim Support Ghana. And then this family made contact with you.
Sure.
And you procured the report.
Exactly.
And tried to locate the insurance company.
Exactly.
To see what they could do.
Exactly.
And this is where you have come to.
This is where I've come to.
Okay. Thank you very much. And you have just been listening to Reverend Sir Benedict Crabb, who is President, Accident Victim Support Ghana, a non-governmental organization that has been doing this for 14 years now. So, like I said, we will not limit it to this story, but we're using this story to get the experts and those in authority to help us to understand what we are supposed to do when a vehicle accident happens.
Yeah.
From the people that you have dealt with over the 14 years and supported to find something for, even for those that were hit or the accidents involved vehicles that were insured. Was it a similar experience?
Of course.
Do you happen to get them claims, get them benefits?
Yes, for claims we have been successful. Sometimes over the years we've been successful to claim some with the help of our partners, National Insurance Commission and National Insurance Association. But it's been also very difficult for some of them.
What makes it difficult?
Yes, we have a story. In fact, under that particular program last year, I support accident victims. It's the World Remembrance Day for crash victims. And we have been doing it with the National Road Safety Authority, where for us, we bring all the victims together to listen to their story, raise funds there, and then help them directly. Where Honorable Fremont Parry heard about it. So she donated. In fact, it was her donation that we shared for the 15 victims that came from the 5 regions. It was her donation, Honorable Fremont Parry, that we shared. Nobody was ready to support this victim for that day. Similar cases were there. One was a woman who was knocked down by one of our government transport companies or agencies, ran over the woman. The woman, after 3 years, happened to now get the necessary document. He's been going up and down, and all that she's been told is that the insurance has has gone status bad, and so they can't do anything about it. And this is a woman that is left with a scar on her leg. If you had asked me of all these pictures, I would have brought it. You know, and it's over 3 years, and the woman kept crying to me. So I remember Mr. Wilson was touched. He said, "No, it can't be done." So he asked me to give them the documents. I can also talk about Maggie, who was killed by a transport on a pavement. That's the only son of Maggie. The only son. 9 years. Very talented. This can knock this boy down. Maggie, since that time till today, had not seen the driver to even say sorry. He went to court. He's been to the insurance. She was given 30,000. He even asked, can I see the driver? And asked, why did you kill my only son? He went to court. She has never since heard anything from the court.
So she was paid 30,000 cedis.
30,000 cedis. And even that we have to drag. We have to go back and forth. We're
and
saying
in
that
this case, you say that she lost her son. The son was killed.
The only son.
Okay.
The only son. Killed on the pavement.
In her case, it didn't take her 3 years. Is that
no,
the
it
case?
didn't take her 3 years.
Okay.
But she wanted to see.
So we'll be telling you something about the years.
Yes. So the years matter here a lot. This woman I'm talking about is 10 years now. And then yes, it's 10 years. Yes, it's 10 years now. And she's still seeking for justice. Aside that, we also have 5 years in Dambai. They are also looking for this justice. I can tell you more stories if you want, which are very pathetic. On my table, I have it, that the National Road Safety Authority sometimes will have to tell you, okay, Reverend, go this way, go that way. Reverend, this one, we have to contribute and then help. But the stories keep on coming. Where I have proposed, if you allow me, that if government could give crash victims
hold on with that. Okay. We'll come to that shortly. So, Mr. Paulie, as the man in charge of claims and complaints at the Ghana Insurers Association, when you hear these stories, what do you do with them when they come before you?
All right, thank you. Good afternoon to your listeners. All right, so as Reverend said, these cases have come to us a lot. And in my line of duty, what I normally do is that when I started claims, I was told that when these cases come to you, put yourself in the person's shoes. Feel like if this thing happens to you, what are you going to do? Yeah, so even the case that he was talking about, the woman whose son was knocked down, the 9-year-old boy, that case, when that case came to me, was not easy because he showed me a video of the son playing keyboard in church at that tender age, but he's no more. So normally when these cases come to us, let me go to your question. There are a lot of stakeholders who are involved.
Right.
Okay. We have the police, we have the courts, and of course the law is also there. And we have what we call statute barred claims. Statute barred claims normally for injury and death is 3 years. Means that if it's past 3 years and the insurance company is not notified of the claim cannot be paid. That is for injury and death claims. However, when it comes to third-party damage, third-party, assuming I'm driving and I damage a third party's property, it could be a car or a building, that one is 6 years statute barred. But we've also made it a little bit flexible, such a way that when the injury occurs and the person is a minor, the minor is not able to claim, there's this, waive it off a little bit, because at that age, we don't expect the minor to follow up. Also, we also have what we call when the person is not in a state.
And when you say minor,
yes.
What age are you referring to?
Oh, minor is mostly below 18 years.
Below 18?
Below 18 years.
Okay.
Yes. And the person is not in a state to follow up him or herself.
All right.
Yes, we do that. And also, we also look at when the person is in a state, maybe the injury is so much that he cannot claim within that 3 years. He's in a coma, or because the person is traumatized.
That's right.
We also allow, we can extend the 3 years. But this must be taken from a court, because somebody would be there, wait for 4 years and come out, he's coming for a claim. So you have to go to the court for the court to justify that, oh, indeed, this person's injury, he was really traumatized. He couldn't have made the claim, or the person is below 18 years. So you give way to that. He also mentioned a state whereby the driver is gone. You can't find the driver. When it happens that way, we also have what we call compensation fund. Compensation fund. That one is paid by the National Insurance Commission.
All right.
So the compensation fund is a fund that has been set up to pay for unlicensed drivers, uninsured drivers, and hit-and-run drivers. So if we're able to ascertain that the driver has bolted, like this case that you're talking about, we don't know where the driver is, we could go that route. Or the person comes up, you know that he hasn't got a license, no license to drive, we also fall on the National Insurance Compensation Fund. And the other one too is uninsured. Assuming you have a car and your insurance has passed, let's say a day, has passed just a day, you are not insured. So insurance is not liable.
Right.
But because something has happened to you, you are hurt or you are injured, we say, okay, fall on the compensation fund. So these options are available for you to make a claim. However, there's also one thing that the National Insurance Commission has done. Mostly when people are boarding their car, they can't tell whether the car is insured or not. So they've provided a short code, a USSD short code, whereby passengers and car owners can always check their insurance. You don't have to call, just pick your phone and dial *920*57#. So it will tell you that, oh, this car was insured over this period of time. So even if the accident happens and you are walking by, you as a passenger, you can go and check whether the car is insured.
All right.
Yes, you can go and check it.
So from these cases that you have examined,
Yes.
what is typical about them, about the expiration of the time? Why do they come when 3 years have elapsed?
All right. So even as what he said, you remember he said that the police report took some time for the people to get the police report. That is one. Most people too don't have the finances to pay for the police report because they have to pay for something. So these things drag on for a number of years.
The police report cost how much?
300 Ghana cedi.
300 Ghana cedi.
Yes. And then the doctor's report also, sometimes the doctor's report is bargained. So it could be 1,500, it could be 2,000, it could be 2,500 or 3,000, depending on the damage. And then they also detect that since you are going to use it for insurance, okay, this is what you are going to get, this is what I will write. So let me take mine out of it. And that also scare victims away. It's also part of the issue, I must confess. Where I sit, I think I have the right to say that. It scared them away that, look, police report, as we talk.
The police report, from what you know,
yes,
should normally take how long?
It should, after you are treated and discharged. Treated and discharged, they should give you, in fact, Mr. Wilkins made us to understand that it is part of the treatment. That as a victim or as a patient, you have the right to be given how you were treated, to be told how your state. So they cannot deny you. But with the case of accident victim, as we talk right now, there's a girl who they recorded. She, by 19th, her 3 years will be ending. So I have to go and pay so that we get it and then alert the insurance company. I went to Ochereko to get the police report also. Ochereko is in a Ochereko Junction on the Winneba stretch is one of the accident-prone junction.
Okay.
And so an accident happened there when she was going to school 3 years ago. And it happened on the 19th of March. As we talk, 19th of March is next month. So if she doesn't get it, it means we cannot assess insurance. So then quickly, I have to get involved, get some money to make sure I get it. The police report, as we talk right now, they said, no, the doctor's report, they said no. She has to pay more because what she paid at the time she was discharged is gone. So she has to pay another money, which is more than...
She has to pay how much?
1,000 and above. So I requested to now meet the doctor one-on-one, not on phone.
Okay.
To go there and then, plead. In fact, in most of the cases, when they realize, oh, you are a pastor helping accident victims. Okay, pastor, can you pay lesser? 800, 1,000, 1,200. Then quickly I pay so we can get it. Then they can assess. Like I said, most of the crash victims, they are not only vulnerable, but they are very poor. And they are coming from very, very poor
And you
areas.
don't have situations where the drivers, if they are survived, or the car owners and the police are actively assisting the victims to be able to process these documents to make their claim. You don't have those incidents?
No, I have. Let me say, I have some, like I work with the insurance company. So when it comes to insurance delay, I know where to go. For that, they have done very well. But with the police, you know, some police people, some of them, they think, oh, you two, you are reverend, you are getting something out of it. In fact, that's the mentality. But some also, from the top, I could call maybe ACP, you know, Supo or Ben, that look, I need help in this area. And then he will quickly call that, look, help him, he's helping somebody. And then they will come in. But in most of the cases that have come before us at our office, it becomes very difficult to assess police reports and doctor's reports as a victim.
Okay. Let me bring on Kwame Kodua Echiahene, Director, Regulations, Inspection and Compliance, National Road Safety Authority. Now, there are certain things we will discuss to help you practically what you are supposed to do once there is an accident. I mean, motor accident, what you are supposed to do immediately. And the stories they are talking about, I'm no stranger to them. I've led, you know, clients to make claims at insurance, helped them to procure their police reports and so on. And I suffered an accident where I almost died on the motorway. Many of you remember that. And I was treated same day and discharged. Even me, getting the police report, it took so long. And I had to follow it almost on a daily basis. Shouldn't be so. Kwame, thank you very much for making time to join us.
Thanks, Samson. I hope you're good.
I'm doing well, Senior. Right. So, some of these come to you, and as we understand, you even encourage where there is the need to mobilize support to help these people because they have run out of time and so on. What is wrong from where you sit, and what ought to be done?
Well, Samson, thanks so much. I think there are systemic bottlenecks, sometimes born out of good reason, other times just a delay and the bureaucracies. For instance, from our side, when these crashes occur, and I imagine for some police officers, you know, there's always a 30-day grace period in order for us to confirm the casualty rate. You know, when a crash occurs, death is accounted for within a 30-day period. So those that are injured would have to be monitored. The police will have to keep a track on them in order for them to be able to firm up exactly on the account. There are other times where the vehicle would have to be examined at the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority with a view to assist its investigations. And in some parts of the country where manpower may not be as desired, in some cases they are confronted with some of these delays. But without holding brief for them, I think that there are other areas where a lot could be done to improve upon these processes. And for those that have come to our attention, in fact, in recent times, in recent years, part of our process is to follow up on some of these crashes that we consider very severe. And what we do is to follow up with the police investigation. And in some cases, we put a bit of pressure on them. And where the conditions allow, we may even be a part of the process to watch brief, just so that the prosecution process will get to its finality and in good time, because we think that the more road users and drivers get to have a sense of the effect of the decisions others make on the road, I mean, it deters them from doing or repeating same. And that in itself is part of the measures that we take to assist these victims. But otherwise, when you look at the law, the Road Traffic Act, it places a responsibility on users, drivers for that matter, to bring these crashes to the attention of the police within reasonable time. And sometimes when the report does not get to the police in good time, for them to be able to get to the accident or incident scene to try to understand what must have happened, the delays on the part of the driver or on the part of the victim or the vehicles that were involved in these crashes somehow also impact on the work of the police as far as their investigations are concerned. And so we always encourage that, as the law requires, if the incident occurs within a municipality and there are no injuries, you do the best you can to inform the police as much as possible.
Right. So it's a requirement of law. So it's a requirement by law that once an accident happens, it must be reported to the police.
Yes. Right. Yes. So if the accident happens in the presence of the police may request for some information.
Right.
And also some documentations. But where that is not the case, the driver is under duty to report the accident to the police.
What is the purpose? What is the purpose for this reporting?
Well, so there are two things. One, for planning purposes, the public sector partners in road safety management would have to keep a track of these incidents with a view to understand the trend and what the key contributory factors are, in order for us to map out short to medium to long-term strategy to deal with that. On the other hand, the police, for claims purposes and also prosecution, the police would have to get involved in order for them to be able to identify exactly what has happened, and if they initiate prosecutions, they would have documents and evidence to do so. So primarily, these two considerations inform the necessity for all of us to inform these accidents as and when they occur.
Right. Thank you very much. Now, once a report is made to the police, it is the expectation from where you said from the Road Safety Authority that accident victims or, as it were, relatives of victims, when they need police reports, should not struggle to get them, correct?
Yes. I think that is a desired expectation. But practically, over the period, some of the delays that are occasioned from our side, the side of the user, failing to report in good time, getting to monitor the condition of victims at the hospital within the 30-day period, having to get the vehicle tested by the testing officer, and other related concerns may delay the process. But the delay sometimes is quite unreasonable. And something I've had unpleasant experience of going through that at a very private level. And sometimes you get so frustrated to the point that you just want to take to other options. And the more we engage on these matters, I think the police would also have to improve upon their internal processes, regardless of the difficulties they may have in some of the police districts, in order to have us experience a certain level of improvement in these matters.
Right. We have just been told about a certain provision that is made for unlicensed drivers and vehicles that are not insured. So the victims of accidents involving unlicensed drivers and vehicles that are not insured get to benefit somewhat from the state funds that are made available. Yeah. I thought that this was supposed to be punished, that you are unlicensed, that your vehicle is not insured. You are supposed to suffer punishment. Why should we, the state, be taking the responsibility of supporting people when people have infracted the law this way?
I think on both ends, the police will usually initiate prosecution for failing to meet the minimum use conditions. And let me say that, you see, there's a reason vehicles are insured, and there's a reason drivers ought to be licensed. From practice, the vehicle and the driver are considered a risk once they get onto the road. So in order to limit the risk to other users, the rules require that at the very least you must be licensed to come onto the road. At the very least, your vehicle must be registered and certified as worthy enough to use public roads. So that if you fail to meet these two conditions, regardless of the consequences that these conditions may have on other things, the police will normally act to have you punished. But then those who suffer the consequences would have to fall on these funds. And I also think that it does happen in instances where there is a hit and run, and you can't trace the offending vehicle or driver, but there is a victim, and their situation may be so concerned that you need to fall on these funds to be able to ameliorate some of the difficulties they go through.
All right.
There's a more worrying concern for us, Samson, which is that when you look at the motor compensation fund managed by the insurance commission, and also there is a component in that law which talks about emergency treatment for road traffic victims. I've had the occasion to be at accident scenes, visit victims at major hospitals, where victims are either turned down because they do not have National Health Insurance card, or in some cases, hospital administrators may demand that they ought to make some minimum payment to receive health care. I think that is quite a concern, and we need to begin to engage on how we can put that provision to use, because there are a lot more people who do not die on the spot, but they lose their lives within the 30-day period out of poor medical care or lack of care. And so if we are concerned about keeping the victims in good, even before we begin to engage on their compensations or a lack of it, I think we need to work together as stakeholders to enforce that provision of the law to the fullest. We need to begin to see how it is implemented, because some of the doctors at some of these scenes are always, they also have their own difficulties that, they put in the claims, it hasn't come in good time. And so when these victims are before them, regardless of what they know, they are also constrained to try to demand some minimum payment before. That's right. These
and I know of circumstances where the doctors will tell you that I know this report I'm doing, potentially I will be required to come to court to testify. And so if you say that we shouldn't take a minimum fee, then that is not fair to us. Even though there are circumstances where you expect that if it is the court that needs people to testify in a matter, the law requires that the people who are coming to testify for the state will also be giving certain stipends to take care of their transportation and their feeding and the rest. All these things don't appear to be properly catered for. And so everybody, the opportunity by which they can get everything up front, they try to take it. Thank you very much, Kwame, for joining us and sharing your views and concerns and position of your authority with us. Thank you very much for this afternoon.
That's right.
Right. So Kwame Kodua Etuahene is Director Regulations, Inspection and Compliance, National Road Safety Authority. Here in the studio still with me, Inda Ahale Pole is Head of Claims and Complaints, Ghana Insurers Association, and Reverend Cyril Benedict Crab is President, Accident Victim Support Ghana. When an accident happens, a motor accident happens, and someone needs to make a claim, what should they look at? What will be the things that the insurer expects from them?
All right, thank you. So, when an accident occurs, the insurer expects the injured person to notify them. If you're not in a position to notify them, the car owner or whoever is driving or whoever is in a position to notify them can do that on behalf of the injured person. I said earlier on that even if you are not able to make the claim and you're able to show that during that time you're not in a state to do that, you can follow up with that one. That is one. When it comes to vehicle accident between two vehicles getting involved, we need a police report. That is key. When it's an injury or death, we need medical report. For death, we need death certificate. This person died as a result of this accident that occurred. These documents are very crucial. We need this because sometimes we need to justify that really something happened. There have been claims that have been paid that have been said to be fraudulent. The first claim that I handled in 2018 was a gentleman who bent his own vehicle. His own Mercedes-Benz, he bent it and wanted to make a claim. And this information came to our notice through the fire service report that came. We didn't know. But if some of these things come and proves that this is what happened, we have every right to repudiate the claim. So in as much as we want to pay claims, we want to pay genuine claims. This one too is important. Then also, I want listeners to know that when an accident occurs, you don't need a lawyer to make a claim.
That's right.
Because people feel that because you need a lawyer, they won't follow up
Right.
the claim again. What you have to do is tell the insurance company for them to process it for you. They'll give you a form to fill, and when you are done, they'll ask you to get estimates for them to process and a proof of the accident. If you're not satisfied, we have what we call the 3-tier system. 3-tier system. 3-tier being the insurance company as the first tier, GIA, Ghana Insurance Association, being the second tier. So we have what we call the Complaints Management and Advice Bureau, which was formed in 2018 June. What we are doing is that we want to be the mouthpiece of insured people, claimants, those who have issues with insurance should come to us. That is after you have gone to your insurance company and you feel that what they are telling you doesn't add up. Come to us, we wouldn't charge anything. We feel that it's our duty. People have a perception that insurance companies don't pay claims. Insurance companies will toss you and delay your claims. But trust the system, come to us. In over 5 years, we've solved over 2,000 cases, which I think is not that bad. 2,000 in 5 years is okay. Then from our place, if you think we are also delaying you and you're not satisfied, you go to the National Insurance Commission. So these are the 3-tier systems that we want listeners or accident victims to go through. Insurance company, GIA, then NIC.
So you can clearly see time is running out on us. We will do a part 2 and we'll share with you a number of things. What time, if you are aware even to report to police and you don't report, are there any consequences about that if you don't report such accidents? What happens to the people who may have been found to have caused the accident? What should happen to them? And what happens to them? Yourself, if you are going to make a claim, yes, you don't need a lawyer, you can go and make the claim. But there are those who say that perhaps because of a certain expert they use, not necessarily a lawyer, they get a better deal. What are the quantums possible to get for third-party insurances and comprehensive insurance? What are the potential claims that you can get? How much? And we will also show you what happens if the time is elapsed. Is there an opportunity for there to be an opening to still make the claim, or take a matter to court. We'll hear your final words before we come next week to do this part 2 of it.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for the opportunity. I think you've said it all. In the part 2, I think I would want to bring those revelations, but I would want to help the entire public. There is something in here that we don't know. The public do not want to listen, to be educated on these things. Where I sit, I can tell you that many of the victims have no idea of all these things that we are talking about, and we give them the direction. And so to our listeners, patriotically, I want to beg them that when you are boarding a car, we have the star 920 star 17 hash, 57 hash. Go, just put in the car number and be sure that that car is insured. Secondly, like lawyer Kodia said, make sure that whenever you are traveling, take your the National Health Insurance. Because I visited about 7 trauma hospitals in Ghana where there are issues, so many issues, and like he rightly highlighted, I have to now educate on passengers carrying their Ghana National Health Insurance card, because it will help you. There's also a component in there that helps you to be given some kind of free treatment.
In part 2, I will actually bring up certain laws that will give us a certain education about whether or not the doctor should be charging fees for these services.
And so lastly, I want to say that where we sit, because at the end of the day, the statistics prove that we have many injured victims, and these victims, some are very serious. The degree of injury, sometimes you cannot study it. They have to spend many days, many months, even years in the hospital and also at home.
And that's why. How are you helping these people? How do you do it?
Exactly, that's where I'm coming. If you permit me as a pastor, I will say it is by grace. It is by grace, because no donor funding from outside and inside. It was last year that the Church of Pentecost came to us and said, look, we've monitored you and we think you are credible, and so we are going to support you, which they did. And so it helped us to be able to be, helping these people.
But that's not permanent.
We are praying that we'll be visiting the Church of Pentecost to at least make sure we stabilize that connection.
If somebody wanted to reach out to you to support you, how do they do that?
Before that, we want government. So far as
yes, you are about to make a certain proposal.
Yes.
You are not going to hold it for next week. Let's hear that.
Honorable Fremont Perry had come. I believe that she's heard it. She's a mother of the nation. And through her, we want to tell government that I think we have come to a stage where we need their partnership and their support.
In what form?
Financially. And like I said, we also don't have a car. For the past 4 years, traveling around. We went to Dubai recently, and people were shocked that the car we sent there was able to take us with the things we carried over there. So we are appealing. If any of the companies can even give us their name on the car, we need a Pajero or something that will take us around the country. We go around as far as Bologard, Boko, visiting them, because over there they don't have it at all. And so we are pleading with other churches and other benevolent organizations, corporate Ghana, to listen to us if we get the car, and also regular support.
How do we find you?
Okay, our office is at Sakaman, Odoko, Dansoman Stretch, but 0505 150 822, 0505 150 822, or 0246 869214, so that the many victims.
Do you have a presence on the media?
Yes, your media, accident victim support. On victim support. Instagram, Accident Victim Support Ghana, Instagram, and then also Facebook.
Okay.
And then also we are our website is www.avsfoundationgh.org.
All right.
avsfoundationgh.org.
Thank you very much. I can say you have said your last word to our viewers, but in case you want to reiterate it about, don't be afraid that you need lawyers and all of that, you can do it. You guys are actually there to support them, correct?
Yes, we are there to support.
Okay. Where do they find you?
Okay, so GIA is located at Kanda on the Sunyani Avenue. We have our numbers 0800 442 000, 0800 442 000. That's a toll-free line, so you can call us Monday to Friday.
All right.
Your issues. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this has been The Law. It's your legal light. It's your help law. I'm Samson Lardy Anyenini, and join us again for a second installment of this, where we are going to take you through the law line by line, precept by precept, to help you to appreciate this even a lot more. My guests have been Inda Ahale Polly, who is Head of Claims and Complaints, Ghana Insurance Association, Kwame Kodua-Etiahene, Director, Regulations, Inspection and Compliance, National Road Safety Authority, and Reverend Cyril Benedict Crabb, President, Accident Victim Support, Ghana. Have a good afternoon.